What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how I actually create some of the custom artwork that I use on my RK1Up projects. Now I'm going to show you what I do. It's maybe not the best option out there, but it is, for the most part, free. And when I say free, I'm talking about the design portion, not the printing of the graphics themselves. That's obviously going to cost you some money. I like to go with Game On Graphics. I do all my designs. I send them over to them with the actual size of the image that I created, and then they print those off for me. And the turnaround time is pretty quick because really there's no work for them to do other than to take that design and print it out. So the first thing that you need to know is that there's not going to be any downloading whatsoever. We're going to use a free service, a free online resource called Canva. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so you can check out what it is I'm doing. So this is canva.com. This is going to be a web-based solution. Once again, this is not going to cost you anything unless you want to go with like the professional package, which gives you a few other options. You may not exactly need that, but that's going to be left up to you. I subscribe to that. I pay that little extra fee because I want to have no limitations and do exactly what I want. It's going to allow you to save images in different file formats and all that, give you a bunch of different options. But you may not necessarily need that for the purposes of what we're going to do right now. So the first thing that you need to do is figure out the overall size of the image that you want to create. So you want to go up here and let's go with create a design. And you can select from something that's they've already sort of pre-designated for you, the resumes and flyers and things like that. But what we're going to do is come down here to custom size, and we're going to, first of all, select inches or millimeters, centimeters, whatever your preference is, wherever you are located in the world. But we're going to use inches for the purposes of this discussion. And you can see I've got some recent ones here. 19 by 9 is what I use to make that decal or that image for the Alien vs. Predator cabinet, the last one for the eye panel. So let's go ahead and click on that. And then what that does is that brings up this image in 19 inches by 19 inches. You can see up top, it gives it a name of, untitled design. So what I like to do is come up here, and then I'll say, let's say we're doing an eye panel. So I'll say eye panel, and then 19, space X, 19. So that just reminds me of the size, because you're going to remember, you're going to have to actually give the size, the dimensions to whoever you're going to have this printed off for, or whoever you're going to have print off your design. So you can come over here to uploads, and this is where you pull all your graphics from online resources, any images you have on your computer. This is where you're going to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and pick Alien versus Predator, put that on there, and then we can do Sonic for whatever reason. We just do whatever we want to do, right? And then you can, once you have, let's go ahead and, that's a little silly. Let's get Alien versus Predator up there. Let's put Sonic down here. Now you're going to have to get comfortable with using Canva. It's going to be a lot of trial and error, but there are things like position of the image. So you select an image, let's say we'll go with Alien vs. Predator. We go to position and we go to forward. You can just kind of bring that image forward. But once you play around with all this and you get what you like, let's say, let's put Sonic back in the front. So Sonic goes back in the front, and then we can choose different backgrounds. Let's go with fire, because fire is always cool. Now you can take Sonic and you can actually go over to edit image, and you can use tools like background remover. Now remember, some of this stuff is not going to be available to you unless you pay sort of the premium. I think background remover is also one of those features that you may have to pay for. But if you're just trying to do a quick and simple image, you shouldn't have to necessarily have that. But like I said, if you see this little crown right here next to background remover, that's going to tell you exactly what is going to be paid for service and what's not. But once we like our image, now we're good to go. Now we can come up here to save, and then you can download this into whatever file format that you want. Now, usually I'll go with a PNG file because it's gives you the best sort of quality. You can also use like PDF print, which is what I use for some of the slides that I have in some of my live streams. But whatever kind of format you want to save it to, you save it to that, and you're done, right? So you can go in here. Let me click this off, and you can scroll down here and you can look at some of my other stuff. There we go. You can scroll down here and see some of the other artwork. Now, this is the eye panel that I made, and it really was just an image that I pulled off the internet. It was a games list of the Capcom arcade fighting stick. So I just pulled that games list. I did a background remove, and then I just put it on the standard black background and got it centered up, and that was it. And you can see some of my other, some of my t-shirt designs down here. Let me go all the way down to some of my, so here you can see some of the artwork that I did for the, now this is for obviously my Gran Turismo 7, the 25th anniversary side panel here. Now you can see that once again, 30 by 64 is what I had. Now, I had to sort of figure out that size, and that's what I went with. So I left that in the title to remind me of what the hell this was. And then I did a couple things. Right here, you can see this black bar that is, see it's highlighted right there. That represents where the actual monitor mount is. So I threw that in there just to give me a point of reference. Now you can also go ahead and you can delete that for the final printing. So that's what the image would look like without that. And you could send that on in, and then that way you don't really have to worry about how that lines up. But I left mine in so that it would give me a point of reference to go ahead and cut out. And once I cut that notch out, the black area, I was able to slide my graphic in place. It ended up being not quite right, though. That was another problem I had, is at the very top. If you look at my video, you can see the very top of this black bar is still remaining because I didn't account for where it was, because I give myself a little more bleed. 30 by 62 is actually 1 inch wider and 1 inch taller than what I needed. So I had that ½ inch. So I didn't account for that when I had this black bar in the way. So, just remember that, remember you're dealing with, the image size that you've selected, not necessarily the size of the panel you're trying to cover. So just remember that if you are having some bleed, the 1 inch bleed or the 2 inch bleed or whatever you want, remember to account for that. So it'll prevent you from making a mistake like that. And also remember that, you don't want to get too much of a bleed. I mean, you don't want to have a couple inches on either end of your panel hanging off, because that's vinyl that you got to pay for. This is just an example. You can see all the different images that I put in here. Everything that is highlighting is an individual image that I found and pulled from the internet and then used to create this. Okay, so you got to be kind of creative. You got to be really patient. You got to be able to sort of pull a bunch of images from the internet, which most people can do that. It's not a problem. And you got to kind of have a vision of what you're trying to accomplish, whether it comes to the artwork or the thumbnails. This is also the place that I make all my thumbnails for my videos. I just use that web-based Canva.com service. And what that also does is there's a mobile app, so I can begin the process on my phone or my tablet, and then I can come back to the computer here and I can refine that. So if there's an image or maybe a video, something that I want to upload, I can upload it from anywhere to this to my account, and then I can utilize that asset later on. So it kind of gives you some flexibility. You're not really locked to just using your PC with some kind of software that you were sort of forced to download. But anyway, that's a little peek behind the curtain and how I kind of put some things together, and I hope that helps you when it comes to designing that custom artwork for your custom arcade project. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel, everybody. You all have a blessed day, and I will see you next time.